72k this month from 30k. I want to do a bit of a debrief. I think it'll be very useful for anyone watching that transformation you've gone through. So I want to just talk about that transformation and what you've done. So firstly, give us the headline, what you do, the month and how it feels, and then we can dig into it.
Of course. So what I do is like I help mainly content creators go from stop selling someone else's business or dream and start selling theirs. So build offers, scale offers and everything, especially for content creators. And to be honest, for me, it's really mind-blowing. I'm speechless to the kind of like results I've been able to generate this month. Because 72k as a kid from a small town in Italy feels completely insane. But on the other side, I know that I've done the work, I've done the inner work and at the same time the work on the business in order to make me get to this point. So it feels really, because I'm living a completely different lifestyle. When you get to 30 to 72 is like completely different.
I appreciate you saying that because I think people listening are going to be like, all right, cool, they want to go in for the numbers, but they don't see the work that you did and what's happened over the last 6 months in terms of the inner work and the personal development you've gone from. Before we talk about that, because I think that's the transformation that's useful, maybe talk about where you are now in terms of that CEO and that person who is able to make that 72k, and firstly what that looks like inside, and then also what your life looks like as that person.
Really interesting. I think the biggest thing that made me have this transformation was that identity shift. Because before it was really like I was an operator. So I was just like working so hard on my business, like working 15 hours a day, doing everything myself. And then in order for me to get to that 72 and even more is coming, I needed to first do an identity shift and recognize myself as a CEO, as a person that is a leader, more as an operator. So I think the biggest shift was the identity shift we decided to go through and really reframe everything, belief systems, how I was operating, where I was putting my time. My time is no more on the singular task, which is editing or something, but like detach yourself because you know that there are people that are doing better than you. So I think the first one was that identity shift. Second one is that identity shift that needed to become like actions. So actually hiring good people, actually training these people really well, and everything else came exactly right after this.
It's so cool. And I think we spoke in January and you were in that operator place, which I think so many people find themselves in, which is like, they've made good money. They're starting to like, you had the money coming in, you were almost like, okay, this is like happening. And then the difference, not just the amazing beard, but the difference between you, that's one shade. The view did shift. But like the difference between when we were in the Cotswolds in January and we were chatting and now is like incredible as you as a person to see you operating from that state. What do you think are a few things that we spoke about, which you used to talk about acting, acting, apart from growing a beard, which I'm apart from growing a beard. What are the few of the things that you think we spoke on that have caused that shift into like you, which I see in front of me right now, which is 100% CEO, leader of people, and has the ability to charge high prices for amazing value?
Yeah. The biggest one is do the step even though I was not ready. So even though in January, for example, I was a kid that had a dream, but was really messy. So the first one is actually start behaving like that person even though I was not ready. And you called me out really well in January, remember me? You are a creator now and we gotta stop that. You need to become a CEO, right? So I remember that you called me out so well that I was like, oh, okay, I need to change everything within how I perceive myself and at the same time how I operate in the business. So you called me out really well in January. And secondly, I would say, I stopped like waking up in the morning and start doing like setting, like more technical, I'm talking about more technical things. I stopped doing setting myself, texting to people. I was doing editing. I was doing like fulfillment. I was doing like literally everything. And you helped me understand that I need to wake up in the morning and do the biggest thing that changed the business, which is actually that creative side, being in marketing. Think about how can you move the business forward, more strategic point of view and more like hiring point of view and more about as well training people rather than just like do the actions itself.
And that's the crazy thing, that you almost had the curse that I see so many people have, which is like you're great at what you do, which is like your editing is great. Your ability to make content is great. Your ability to help your clients was great. But it was then separating yourself from like, how do I work out what I am uniquely great at and no one else can do, and then hiring that. How did you go through that process?
I think, man, this is such a good question. The biggest one that I think make entrepreneurs stuck below 30 is having ego. And let me break it down this, because having ego will make you stuck, will make you be capped. So I had an ego death situation in January and February where I was feeling like I'm not the best person in the world. I'm not. There are people better than me. There are people better than me that are doing the actions better than me. So like I definitely should remove myself from that, chill, be humble and say there might be someone out there that is better than me. At doing setting, at doing editing, at doing everything else. So I think that's the biggest shift I think I've done. So more about ego death.
I love that. It's so true as well, because the thing that gets people to 30 is not the thing that gets people to like close to six figures.
Yes.
Where you're at right now. The team is what gets you there. How have you found hiring and the process of letting go?
Yeah, that's interesting. I fucked up so many times. You know, right?
Right. Yeah.
I've hired 3 setters, but I was not the leader. You know, so I was hiring people, but I was not a good leader. So I saw hiring really challenging, especially at the beginning. September, I was still making 30K. January, I hired another person, but I was not a leader. But I love hiring, actually. Right now, I love people. I love hiring good people. I love training as well, because you see your team members growing at the same time as you. So I think at the beginning was really challenging not because of the people, because of me being a good leader for them. But then as soon as I've done that identity shift and I shifted my priorities during the day and focus more on making that individual like an amazing human being, an amazing like killer, then everything started making much more sense, and I was more relief, and I was not too much in the business, but I was on the business, which is different.
I think I'm going to double click on that point because of the becoming a better leader.
Yeah.
What within you or within your actions helped you become a better leader?
So your phrase will stick to my brain every single time for the rest of my life, which is take ownership of everything. You told me something like, by default, it's your fault. Remember, you told me a phrase like this. By default, it's your fault. So if this person is not like operating well in the business, think you first. Like, what have you have done to make the process smoother? What have you have done to improve this person in whatever they're doing? What can you do better by yourself? And then after, if you know that you've made the best out of you, then is the person. But before pointing fingers out, point fingers in. And as soon as you know that yourself is good, then check if the seller is actually good or not.
Yeah.
Or editor.
I appreciate you saying that, and it actually really invokes an emotion in me, because it was when I found that out, it was the day that not only did my business change, but it was a bit of a life-changing moment for me as well.
It really
because it makes you accept that the world outside of you is not perfect, yet everything you can control. And I'm interested to hear what your thoughts on it, but for me, I remember just thinking like everything is chaos outside.
True.
And if I just always blame myself, not in like a sadistic everything's my fault sort of way, but in like a how could I have done better? You look at everything in life feels more controllable, and you feel like, okay, I actually am the master of my own destiny. And not only does it create for better relationships with your team, but it also changes the way that you view the world around you, and it makes entrepreneurship feel a lot more comfortable and easy, because you're like, that happened, okay, what could I have done better? I'm going to do that thing better. It actually gets a little bit better now, and now it's actually easier to deal with.
I remember we've been talking about the business is a personal growth well paid, right? So if your business is going well, it's because you are growing as a person. So from this part of leadership and hiring is like, you have improved that side of you, which is ego death, which is pointing fingers to you first in a good way. And since you develop that side of you in that personal growth chapter, let's put it this way, then your business, poof.
And I think we need to touch on that, because that, like, people are gonna listen to that and be like, they just want to hear the hacks that you did. What, like, did you increase your price? Did you increase your ICP? And we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But double click on the self-development journey you've been through, because I think that no matter if someone's listening there and they're 40, if someone's listening there and they're 20, I think we both know that was probably the biggest thing that happened over the last 6 months,
100%. I mean, that's my take on how I see business. Like, you can improve funnels, you can improve ICP, you can improve offer, you can higher your prices. Those are superficial level changes, which are easy to make because it's just a decision like this. But it's what are all those limiting beliefs and alignment with the business that you're developing influence that. So actually, I made the work in the spiritual and mental world more than the actual physical world. The physical world just catch up with the rest. So I needed to feel worthy of charging 10K for my offer. I needed to feel that I was the person to receive that kind of money. I was the person to hire those A players. I was like, that's the work.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I see now. Like, because obviously we've been chatting online, but the difference between when I saw you in January versus now is just like unrecognizable. And I genuinely mean that. Like, it's incredible, and credit to you for doing the work, because a lot of people, like, I think you won't mind me saying that in January, the 30K was like, oh my God, 30K. Yeah. Like, it was like that. It wasn't like, 30K. Of course. It was like, oh my God, 30K. True. Whereas now the 72 is like, I feel it. Yeah, I feel it. You're operating, like I said to you when we were playing Paddle, I was like, congrats. And I noticed that you were just like, yeah, cool. Yeah. As opposed to the 30K in January, you were like, I'm the guy. Yeah. Like, I'm the guy. And I think it's so cool to see how you've gone on that transition of that human being.
We've been talking about it as well, because you cannot outwork your self-image. So you can I was working 16 hours a day when I made the 30K, right? I was working 16 hours a day, like operator, full operator, but my self-image was a 10K guy, or like a 5K guy, right? So then as soon as, boom, 30K, I was surprised because I don't know, my self-image was a 5K, 10K guy. And then right now, I think my self-image is someone that makes 200K a month, 100K a month, or even more. Like I see myself as a 7 or 8 figures founder. 8 figures, I feel still a little bit of friction, but 7 figures for sure.
That's cool.
And then 72K easily after.
Exactly. And I love that. It just feels it feels like you deserve the thing, and that's cool. So let's talk, that's the underpinnings, which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So then changing that identity, tactically, what do you think happened that allowed you to hit that higher ICP, the price change, those sort of things? What do you think you actually did within the business once you'd embodied the person who makes that money?
As soon as I embodied that person and I work on my self-image, I was like, okay, I'm a 7 figures founder, right? So what would a 7 figures founder do with his pricing? Would he keep the same pricing or would he increase the pricing because his value is bigger? So the first thing, I raised my price from 5.7 to 10K, which right now I feel as well, maybe more. Okay, so it's like that. At the same time, I would say improve my fulfillment, because I was feeling like, okay, perfect. So if I hire my pricing, that I need to justify why I hire the pricing, so I better the fulfillment. So I hired a VA that is helping me improve the entire fulfillment side. At the same time, it's creating systems behind my hires. So if I have editors, if I have setters, I don't just onboard them. Hey, come in. It's like I give them already like something to work on. They have systems. They already know where to work and to make their operational side of things more systemized, right? So all these little changes, and at the same time, it improves the marketing, right? So if I'm a 7 figures founder, how would I talk on camera? Would I talk like before traveling, backpacking, or would I talk like you're a content creator, you're not scaling right now, listen up. Different 100%. Changes. So I think these are all like technical changes that I've done, but they came from that self-image and identity.
Because it's very easy for someone listening to this thinking, I just increase my price, and I just, I attract a higher ICP, but no, it's that embodiment. And I remember like saying that to you, which you took, like, in all credit to you, the ability for you to take on advice and just action it is incredible, and that is massively to do with your success. And I remember saying to you, like, this thing of currently you attract the lower quality, or lower quality is harsh, maybe the lower budget ICP because of the travel thing, and you were like, I want to be that, and you just did the work to attract that person. And now I remember, you look on camera, you look at your content now, and it's like established CEO, founder, and then that attracts the person that does that pays the 5-figure price, which is so cool, because that a lot of people would take that advice as being like, you want me to change, and it's like, nah, you actually embodied that thing. So it's funny, even though we talk about the tactics, it even still comes back to like
to self-image.
The person, right? The person that you want to be.
I remember I was in a really rock bottom moment, and I decided to call you and ask help. And I remember that because telling someone that they need to change their way of behaving, thinking of themselves, is challenging. Like, I remember I was feeling like, fuck, so like, god damn it, you told me, like, you just made me face the reality of things, because I was feeling like I wanted to make 6 figures in a month, but you were telling me, you're not ready yet. And you told me that. I remember it hit hard, but at the same time, I accepted. And I had that ego death, because a person receiving those sort of advices will feel attacked in some way. And I decided not to feel attacked, and I decided to like listen and be open-minded to.
And that's a credit to you. Like, we're sitting here and we're talking about the months, and you're being very kind and saying I helped, but I think like there is the exact carbon copy of yourself that doesn't do that, gets pissed off and goes, I don't want to change, and doesn't get the result, because you're just simply like, and that is why this is only the start for you, because of the fact that if every time you get a bit of feedback, you act on it, like, you're going to keep going to the moon. So what would be some of the things that you think you have done as a business owner that have really moved the dial? Maybe like the top 3 things that you did aside from like the self-work stuff, because I think people coming here, they're going to want the hack. We're not going to give them the hack, but like, I think there are some levers that you've pulled that have helped a lot.
The way that you say the 4 hours focus blocks, really technical, is I wake up in the morning, I do my morning routine, meditation and stuff, and then I attack the day by doing the highest leverage activities straight on in the morning. So I don't focus on admin shit, I don't focus on any of that, I don't focus on setting, I don't focus on editing, I don't focus on email marketing, all those things that a business owner can do, and I literally focus on client acquisition. Period. So what I do is I ideate content, and I think about how can I get more customers. Because I think from 0 to $1 million a year is just about client acquisition.
100%.
And I love this thing about Buddhism that says you don't need to add something in your life, you need to remove something in your life. So you need to remove all that email marketing and things that people tell you, and just straight focus on client acquisition and do everything in.
I'm sure the Buddha, when he said that, was meaning about email marketing. He was like,
Exactly.
they've got to make sure. No, I love that. That's
Exactly.
so true. People try and like, they add things, they're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then, the removal of everything allows you to do what you're good at.
Yeah,
which is a creative process, right?
True. That I would say that's the biggest one, to be honest. The second one was taking afternoon to train my team. So I was making like, especially when I onboard a new member, still right now, it's me doing it. Every single day for 2 weeks, I train my setter or I train my editor to do the stuff as I know has to be done, right? So I take the afternoon to train my team, and I saw crazy improvings from that. I see a crazy, like my setter from being like not the best to set calls and really well and feel human in the chat and more like a robot. So hiring these people but train them as well, right? That's the second thing. The third thing is actually take time off. It looks like you should work 16 hours a day in your business and you should. I don't really believe in all of that.
Sure.
The hustle culture, because I noticed that for me, it caused me mental health issues to just focus on the business. So as a business owner, we need to cure our state of mind. So take times off. Say Sundays off. You told me, take Sundays off. I did it. I've done it. And so it made me like kind of recharge batteries and
I love that.
Start the week with more clarity.
Mate, it's so cool. And like, I appreciate that. And I put you on the spot there. So I appreciate you coming up with those three. But that every single one of those is the perfect transformation from operator, someone who's very good at something, content creation and business, to someone who is a peaceful CEO, calm, delegates, hires. And it's honestly, mate, it's incredible to see your journey. And like, I don't think I've seen many people go through the transformation in a business sense or a personal sense over 6 months. So like, massive credit to yourself. What's next?
What's next? I don't want to hit target goals of money anymore, because I think I have much more self-worth and I'm much more worthy than just money.
100%.
That I don't want to put the like income goals. I will share right now because I obviously have an idea of how much I want to close the year. But honestly, my goal is to remove myself from the business and just trust people, have amazing people in my team, create a beautiful culture, create a beautiful vision, impact humanity in a way. So for me, my business is not just a way to make money. That's why I differentiate myself from any other business owner. I do this business from my heart, and I think this business is a beautiful chapter for me to get to where I want to go in my life. So it's like actually my purpose. My business right now is my purpose. So I really want to make this business super good. Beautiful people, beautiful culture, beautiful masterminds, meet up with people, doing public speaking, have events, have a audience of 500 people there in a room, in an arena or whatever it is, impact people, show what's possible. That's what I'm moved by. So it's like me getting more clients, but not me getting more clients because I'm making 200K in a month, but me getting more clients because I know I can change their life. So you change drastically someone's life.
I appreciate that.
It's just income, but it's like much more than income, to be honest. His ability to give back to your family, his ability to give back to your team, his ability to do a lot. So I would say that's where I'm going next. So
I have no doubt that you're going to achieve it, my friend. I look
Thanks,
forward
bro.
to being in the front row on that arena for sure.
100%.
Good stuff, my friend.
Let's go. Thanks, Sol.
Cool, buddy. All right.
By the way, the business goal is 200K. I want to get to 200K.
Get that quote. We don't care about the income, but
I need to say that.
you need to say it so we've got proof of it on camera.